Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer greatly from the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes, and be killed, and on the third day be raised. Then Peter took Jesus aside and began to rebuke him. "God forbid, Lord, no such thing shall ever happen to you." Jesus turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You are an obstacle to me. You are thinking not as God does, but as human beings do." So it states that Jesus said that he must go to Jerusalem. Why? If he knew that bad news was waiting for him there, why didn't he just avoid the place? Well, as we know, Jerusalem was the holy city of the people who saw themselves as chosen by God. And that part of revealing the true nature of God as Jesus experienced that personally meant that he needed to go to the holy city as part of his missionary work. It would have, to avoid that city would have been a way of saying, "I'm not entirely committed to this mission. I'm going to take it a little easy. I'm going to take care of myself and avoid this torture and punishment and death." So Jesus is making the decision, and this is the first of 3 times that he will talk about how he is going to suffer and die. And at whose hands but the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes. And so we might say, well, how did Jesus realize that this awful pain and torture and death was going to happen? Why didn't he instead have the confidence that he would change the minds of the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes? And the answer is, Jesus was not stupid. His experience up to this point told him there was no changing these folks. Now, that doesn't mean he wasn't going to continue to try, but in the depths of his being, I think he realized pretty well that as he continued in the various ways, by what he said, but more importantly, by what he did, how he treated people, particularly how he invited into the community people that the Jewish leaders thought should never be invited into the community because they saw them as unclean. And we know what a challenge that is in our society today.